Imran Khan, Swan Energy.
Jeremy Pate, Swan Energy.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us today here. And I'll tell you guys, I'm on the road here coming back from Living the Crude Life live recording session in Greeley, Colorado, trying to get my piecemeal news. You know, I got Steve Harvey giving me news at the gas pumps, and so I'm getting bombarded with so much noise. I don't know which way's left, but I did see a headline. Chevron buys Noble, and they're going to lay off something 70, 75, 80% of their employees. Depends on which headline you read. Guys, I'm sure you guys are into this because you guys have so much happening where you're being in an extremely aggressive American company right now. And it seems like this global, I don't know what we want to call it, if it's from the top down or what, but it's happening, guys. It's happening. Talk to me about your reactions to the Chevron Noble news.
Well, it was definitely an eye-opener. I anticipated Noble was one company that was a prime candidate to get bought out or acquired or merged with somebody else. I did not see it being Chevron, but I do love the transaction from a Chevron point of view. It gives them a foothold in the DJ where they can rival their biggest nemesis, Oxy. So they offset that. In addition, Noble has some very good assets and acreage positions in Colorado, and they've done very well. The D&C costs are low there. They have very good wells that are anywhere from 800,000 to 1 million EUR. So I love that from a Chevron perspective. Noble, they just did what they had to do to kind of get out from under everything. They weren't going anywhere. They were kind of spinning their wheels with their stuff in Israel and some of their overseas stuff. This is a great deal for Chevron and an all stock transaction.
Trying to keep up with a lot of this is pretty difficult, with these mergers that happening, because these are big mergers, and I saw another one, and I didn't have time to make notes. Like I said, I've been in the car traveling, and I got my dog with me and trying to keep, everything going. And it was an acronym company. It was a couple $2 billion. I don't know, it's time for a game show to see if either one of you know what I'm talking about, because it was honestly, it was like a secondary headline news after the Chevron one, but it was I don't know, it wasn't PNG or PRG, because I know I saw a bareback rodeo guy, and that's where I got PRG from, and I've been doing some Photoshop work, and I know that's where I got PNG from. Does either one of you know what I'm talking about? There was a kind of another big merger in the last week.
I think you're talking about NRG, right?
That's NRG. It, NRG. Oh,
Direct Energy.
At least what Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I got 2 out of the 3 acronyms.
I got 2 letters, man. That was good. That was very good.
Talk to me about your reactions on that.
Well, they're a little bit different than the whole deal with Chevron. They're on the electricity side, but Direct Energy, who's owned by Centrica, it's a British company, actually. I know we've been talking a lot in the past podcasts in regards to globalization and a global economy. This is definitely a direct look at that pretty much the same way. So NRG is picking up Direct Energy, I believe, for something like 3.6 billion, something to that effect. So I think it's going to be a big number, and probably some layoffs and things like that going to be occurring in that space too.
Imran, thank you for bringing up the word layoffs, because you just reminded me I got to keep Mr. Jeremy accountable, because one of the questions I asked you, Jeremy, was about layoffs and, 70, 75, 80%, something like that. And I think you kind of skirted over it, in my opinion. I'm not sure, but I do want to get back to that about the layoffs, because, obviously the easy answer is that, it's terrible, and, it's happening so fast. And in the past, these big mergers, it would have been a couple of years of a gradual layoff phase, but COVID makes it so immediate. And there's some easy answers, but I want to see if either one of you guys know about solutions for some of these people out there that are getting laid off, that are having the real life problems, because every media outlet out there is going to tell you exactly what I just told you over the 2-month period. So when I lost my business back in 2009, 2008 it was, I had a publishing business. So first of all, we got crushed by the internet. And then secondly, I had the unfortunate timing of having a real estate publication. And so after my 30th bankruptcy notice from a builder, developer, realtor, or modeler type, well, I knew that was the end of the road for me. So I basically had to shut that business down. And the irony is, the way that I kind of piecemealed my living through that was I helped a guy set up what was known as a like a real estate trust. It was where just people would put in money and they would go buy a shopping mall or something like that. That's the basic version, IREIT or something like that it was called. And I've always wondered if the oil and gas industry ever has anything like that, where I know I can't go in and buy a rig. There's no way. But maybe I got, if I got 25, 35, 100,000, 200,000 lying around in some form, whether it be liquid or even if it's a severance package or something like that. Do you guys know of anything out there like that where people can, invest into rigs? Because listen, these big companies, Warren Buffett, these guys they're buying stuff for a reason. They're buying stuff for a reason because it's a buyer's market right now. So anyway, don't know if you agree or disagree with what I just said, but the main part is if you guys know of any, kind of investment solution ideas out there.
Yeah. So Jason, the terrible part about that acquisition is, like you said, and I kind of, in my remiss, I did kind of gloss over that. And, but Noble, 80% of Noble's workforce is going to be laid off. And that's, all those families that had a normal monthly income are now going to be without an income, and some of them may get packages, some of them may not. However, Swan does have a program that could help them out, and we can help them out through their 401k. Most of these people will have a 401k that they're going to have to roll out of the Noble 401k and into an IRA or something like that. And how we can help them is that we have a program that can roll their 401k into tax-free into another 401k that they can invest into oil wells through Swan, and that could provide them with monthly income that they could utilize to support their family going through this crisis.
So you guys do have something like that. I always wondered if that was out there. And I guess talk to me a little bit about the program. How long have you guys been doing this? Is this something that, you do for yourself? Do you guys do it for your employees? Just give me a little bit of extracurricular context.
Well, so we've been doing this for 10 years under Brandon Davis, our CEO. But this is just a typical way we do business with our partners. We have around 682 active partners that are partnered up with Swan in drilling and development of our own assets. And we make it feasible for them to utilize their 401k without having any tax implications, to directly invest into our oil wells with us, which then in turn provides them with monthly income for many years to come on down the line. So the thing is, let me give you an example. If a guy working for Noble was to get laid off and he estimated that he was going to have to withdraw $100,000 from his 401k to support his family for the next 6 months to a year, he could actually take that $100,000 from his 401k, roll it into a 401k that is affiliated with us, and then use that as a direct investment into a parcel of oil wells that would provide him in return, for an example, $4,000 to $5,000 a month in monthly income for the next several years, 10, 15, 20 years.
Well, and the other part of it too is right now, government has some programs where you can actually pull money out of your 401k without any penalties because of what the state of the economy too. So from an income standpoint, obviously, Americans need income and need to be able to have the cash flow that's out there. And to your point, Jason, why can't the average guy be able to buy low and sell high like we are, right? So I think that's one of the big keys there that that our partnerships allow across the board. So you can have a percentage of one well. You can have a percentage of 10 wells. So there's definitely some different opportunities there that provide income stability. I think that's going to be key in the coming months, as we're going to be hearing a lot of the news that we're seeing right now from the Oxys, the Chevrons, the NRGs of the world.
So, and let's face it, Jason. If a guy takes out $100,000 of his 401k to support his family, that's great. That's what he has to do. But that's a dry hole, right? I mean, that's just money that is going to go away as soon as it runs its course. But if they were to invest that $100,000 into a set of oil wells with Swan, that's money that's going to continue to provide for them and their family, like I said a while ago, for 10, 15, 20 years.
Oh, I just think it's pretty cool to be able to say that, yeah, I got some oil wells. Yeah, kind of, I'm J.R. Ewing. I'm Jerry Jones. Hey, man, I'm in the media, and I'll exaggerate. I watch pro wrestling. I know Vince McMahon taught me. So there's a little bit, Well, the president of the United States, he did, he's in the WWE Hall of Fame, and he did headline WrestleMania twice. So it's a lot to be said about that. So anyway, that's really cool that there is a program out there, and you guys actually open up your, basically I guess the way I'm understanding this is that at some point you must have opened up your employee program to others, or you brought it in because it was so successful in the outside world and said, hey, employees, this is so successful for our CEO that we should probably be a part of this too. So either way, it's been proven, and that's what I'm getting at, is that if you've been doing it for 10 years and you've kind of got that checks and balances out there where both sides can kind of invest in there and keep you guys on your toes, that's a pretty neat concept for the average person really to get involved. Because I'm looking at this, $20, $30, $40 oil, boy. It only seems like it's going to go up over the next 10 years. Really, it does overall.
Well, and consider that in with this comment, Jason, that our current project that these people could invest in is profitable at $22 a barrel. So if they were to invest today, they'd be making a profit of $18 on every barrel that we produce with us.
How does that work now? Okay, so they call you guys, I suppose, and you kind of set things up from there. But do you know like a timeline? Don't get into the details because that'll put people to sleep. But if you got like a bullet point kind of timeline of expectations that somebody would kind of know, is that anything that you could do over this type of format or?
Absolutely, we lay it all out. We provide them with a confidential information memorandum that details the entire project. It even lays out the timelines for them, gives them a reasonably good expectation of what they can expect in return for us.
Okay. Anything else about that program, I guess, that you should probably, we should let people know, or you felt that we missed or anything?
Really, it's a good, I just kind of repeat what I said earlier. It's a good idea. It could be a good idea for some families that are looking at, they're going to need to withdraw money from their savings, their 401k, to support their family. At that point, they don't know whether they're going to be laid off for 6 months, a year, 18 months. That's something you just don't know. You don't know how oil and gas is going to go or what direction your career is going to go from that point. So by making a move like this, you give yourself an opportunity to have monthly income for your family and their future for years to come.
Well,
and I think one of the
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, one of the big things, a lot of these folks, they're probably degreed folks that have done so much schooling, and schooling does a great job of sharing with you how to be able to obtain a job and work a job. One of the things that I feel that in our systems that it is lacking is the financial aspect of things and understanding a lot of what needs to be learned from daily finance, cash flow, and things of that nature. And I think a lot of our programs and even our SIM, as Jeremy mentioned, it provides a lot of those details and explains things based on different price points. To your point, we've got a deck that we provide that gives you an analysis of what to expect if oil is at $25 a barrel versus if oil is at $45 a barrel, and looking at what September numbers look like in the futures market. It looks like it's going to be closer to that $45 is what it's looking like in the coming months. So that's good to see.
I would like to transition into a pop quiz question here because I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure if either one of you are qualified to answer this or not. I know Brandon is. Brandon Davis, your CEO, he seems to be the one that answers the trucking question anytime it comes down the pipe. But I did want to, I'm out on the road and I'm traveling and this type of thing. And I do travel quite a bit, like many people do. And, Texas is just, when you're in the oil and gas, you travel from play to play. And sometimes you got to drive 2 hours to a rig sometimes. So this is the first trip that I've been on that I've seen over two. I mean, this is pretty rare for me to see a truck that's empty, a big semi-hauler trailer that's empty. That's either doesn't have a trailer behind it or it's got a flatbed completely empty. I bet I've seen 20 of them from Colorado to the Bakken. And that tells me that a lot of truckers out there are working twice as hard for half the pay. So I'm not sure if you guys know an update from the trucking world as you see it from, the ivory towers up there. But you're from the road. It didn't look too good, guys.
Well, I think it's a transition phase right now, too, Jason. From what we are seeing, we're definitely seeing, as what we've been talking about, a lot of the companies that have the opportunity to be able to merge and join are doing that prior to getting into a bankruptcy type of situation. But with that said, I think in the next coming months, you'll see a lot of changes. I know from our Inject company that does a lot of our trucking and water hauling, things are definitely picking up on our side. There's definitely a lot of new contracts that we've been looking at. We've actually hired several folks to be able to better manage the amount of business that we're seeing right now. So I think it's probably a transition phase that that happens in the market. And as we kind of go through and hit the bottom and come back up, you have to kind of see these things and get back into where we need to get to.
Anything else that we should talk about this week? Those are my basic things, the big mergers and layoffs, and if there's any solutions for people, and then, of course, the trucking update. Like I said, that's an anecdotal observation I had, and thank you for the pop quiz answer on that. But the mergers and acquisitions, just kind of summary on that. You guys have a great program, it sounds like, that if somebody wants to roll over, and it's roll over their 401k, if I heard you correctly. So just kind of a quick summary of the program and how people can contact you and get investing in oil wells.
Well, as far as giving us, contacting us, they can go to our website. Our phone number's there at swanenergyinc.com. They can reach out through the contact me page. There's also a phone number. They're more than willing to give us a call between business work here from 8 o'clock till 6 o'clock every day. They can also find us on Instagram or Facebook on one of our pages there, and they can fill out the information page, and one of our sales reps, our business development guys, will give them a call back. So we've got multiple forms that they can get in touch with us. The easiest is just to call our front desk and say and ask for the sales team, and they will help them get facilitated with all the information they need to make a informed decision of their own.